Okay, so, hi, I'm Liz. Hopefully you guys know that by now. If you don't, then hi, I'm Liz. Off to a great start. So the song that I'm going to be playing in the background is called Creep by Radiohead. This song has gotten me through a lot of hard times, and I can't really tell you guys why. It's just I've grown up with it, and so I've kind of built my own memories off of listening to this song, so I have a lot attached to it. And it also inspired me a lot with writing my own music and finding my own sound, and so I just really like the song, so I put it in. So for my senior portfolio, I wanted to do something that not only was going to help my grade, but also help me as a person. So I decided to take a road trip down to my old house that I used to live in from when I was born to when I was 11 years old. But the thing about this house is that I only lived at this house every other weekend because I lived there with my dad, and my dad did not have full custody of me because my parents have been divorced. So I lived at this, let's say, part-time house for 11 years of my life, and I would say it is the place that I would most closely call home. So I decided to take a road trip there, and it got a little crazy. So when I first got there, I was really surprised because I noticed that it was really abandoned, and I'd never really seen it like that before. So even just the initial view of pulling up there, I didn't even recognize the place. And I also realized how small everything looks, because obviously when I'm younger, everything's gonna look bigger. But I was really surprised on how it looked now versus how it did then. So after a while of looking around outside, we decided to try our luck and go knock on the front door and see if anybody was there, and see if they would let me come in and look around for a little while, because I drove about 4 hours that day, there and back. So I was trying to get the most out of it that I possibly could. So I finally worked up the courage to go and knock on the front door. And I knocked, and after a couple seconds or a couple minutes of waiting, we realized that no one was answering and there was no cars in the driveway. So I tried to open the door, and to my surprise, it was actually unlocked. So I decided that I wanted to go look around my old house, and no one was there, and it was in the middle of the country. So I went inside. What I saw in there, I will never forget. Everything was just empty, and I had never seen it like that before. And there was a bunch of random things laying around. You could tell that it's been abandoned for a really long time. I had a lot of good memories in that house, don't get me wrong, but I also had a lot of things that happened in that house that have really made me who I am. One of them being that my parents were divorced, and so obviously that impacts you a lot when you're a kid. Another thing that I don't really open up that much about, some of you may know, but I doubt it. I'm not super open about it, but for the sake of this video, I think it's important to share because it correlates really strongly with the message that I'm trying to get across. I had a brother named Jake, and he was 8 years old, and he was the funniest kid you'd ever meet in your life, and he had a smile that could light up any room at any time. Blonde hair, blue eyes, really tall, lanky kid. One day he was across the street at the neighbor's house, and on his way home, just across the street, this out in the middle of nowhere country house you could see for miles, he got on his bike to cross the street, and he got hit by a truck. And he didn't look both ways when he crossed the street. He died almost instantly. And I just remember that my family was completely destroyed after that. My dad turned to drinking, and my mom didn't know what to do with the kids and herself and my dad. So after 4 years, they got a divorce. And ever since then, it's been a tough topic to talk about. But, you know, as terrible as that is, it's really made me who I am today. I moved around so much that I wouldn't have really that foundation that built me and made me who I was. So I just had to figure that out by myself. And it's always been a constant struggle of figuring out who I am and what I want to do and who I want to be, and all these really big questions that everyone is faced with when they're really young. The reason that I shared with you guys that story about my brother is because it really made me realize that everybody has their highs and everybody has their lows, and it doesn't really matter where you come from or what happens to you or the things that occur in your life that, yeah, they make you who you are, but it's all about how you choose to deal with them and carry them within your life that projects who you are. Everybody has adversity, but it makes you more experienced in life. It makes you be able to deal with struggles better and face challenges that come your way. I've never met one single person who has a perfect life. And I think that a lot of people need to stop pretending that they do, and they need to stop pretending that they have everything figured out, because honestly, nobody has everything figured out. Anything can happen at any moment that can change the course of your life. All these years that I have faced of struggling to find who I am, I finally realized something huge. I've been trying so hard over the past 18 years of my life to figure out who I am and who I want to be and all of those big questions, but it took me this long to realize that nobody really knows who they are. We're all just figuring it out as we go along. The best that we all can do is just reflect on the person that we were in the past and think about who we want to be in the future. And in the middle of that somewhere is who you are. But it's not something specific, and it's not like a stereotype. It's nothing like that. It's just something in between those lines of who you were in the past and who you want to be in the future and what you want to do in life. Like, you don't need to define yourself. You don't need to label yourself. And those are things that I never realized until now. But yeah, that's all I have to say. That's my senior portfolio. I just wanted to sit down and talk and not make anything fancy. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Thank you guys for giving me your time, even though you have no choice. But thanks for listening. If you're not listening, then that's fine. So yeah, that's about it.